Hello viewers, Super GT here. So, Forza Motorsport 7, we now have the penalty collisions system, or collision penalty system. So, when you send people to the Shadow Realm, you should be penalised for it now. But contact, anything like that, hitting people wide, revenge hits, anything, you name it. As long as there's contact, we should hopefully be seeing penalties. In fact, it is just a beta, it's a beta hopper. We'll see if it works, if it doesn't work, by having a couple of races here. So there you go, we made contact and it registers the collision and then it processes that decision as to whether or not you should get a penalty. In this occasion, I guess it's still calculating because it's still there, but we didn't get a penalty as, well, the guy didn't, nothing really happened, I suppose. I think the main thing here really is, does your opponent lose a lot of time, lose a lot of places, go off the track? Do you gain time? Do you gain places? And I think that's kind of the basis it's working on. It is very difficult. We've seen it in Gran Turismo Sport, which still doesn't have an optimal penalty system. It's got better over time, roughly, but it is very difficult to get a system that works for absolutely every scenario all the time, 100% correctly every time, all the time. So for now, you know, this is just the beginning, and we'll hopefully see a proper version in Forza 8. It is quite an important piece of information that the August update for Forza 7 will be the last update on this game before they turn their attention to presumably Forza 8. They're just calling it the next project, but we can kind of assume it's going to be Forza 8. So for this race, I've got 1.5 seconds worth of penalties, none for contact. To be fair, it was quite a tame race. It was actually a decent race. People actually tried to race, which is kind of surprising to me because when the track limits thing came out, everyone was trying to cut. So I thought when the collision one came out, I thought everyone would be trying to hit. But it wasn't the case. So here, I wanted to start last. So we're going to just leave it on the grid. That guy just obviously had a blindfold on. Couldn't quite see that I was there. Stopped on the grid. Registered the collision. Obviously, I was on the receiving end of that one, I suppose. Although, you could say I was blocking the track. But on this occasion, no penalty to be given. So this one, this race, we're going to turn it into, well, Dante's Inferno, you could say. It's going to be a bit more hellish right now because that first race, Suzuka, it was a little bit timid. And I was hoping for a little bit more carnage and Shadow Realm entries. Didn't quite happen. So here, look, just going to turn across that guy completely. Didn't force him off the track. In fact, I came off worse in that whole thing. And no collision penalty. Off-track penalty, no. It wasn't really a cut anyway. So a little bit later in the lap, that guy's obviously been sent off. Don't know if anyone's getting a penalty for that, but we continue. Try to catch up with the pack and just really test this system. I can finally ram people off and not feel completely guilty because I can just say, well, look, I'm just testing the system. So here, coming into this next corner, we're not really going to get on the brakes in time. We're going to try to run this guy wide, run them both wide. Look at that, push him right off the track. Will that be a penalty? So the collision one gone greyed out, so I'm guessing not. Off track, still processing, no penalty. Collision, still there, still processing, so I don't know. Maybe it has to wait for the guy who I've rammed off to really get back on the track so you can actually fully decide how many positions they've lost. But it's still not giving me a penalty, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. So coming up through turn 1 towards Dunlop Curve, 15th place. I'm going to try to catch up with the pack as they try to escape Mr. Super GT. I should really make an R4M account, I think, on Xbox for this kind of occasion. This guy just gives up completely. He doesn't want to take part any further. Just drive straight off the track and spares his blushes. He can live to fight another day. So up into 14th, trying again catch up with the big pack up ahead, and one of them is going to be presumably right in my firing line as perhaps I come down into this tight hairpin, which is about to come up. So, which one should I go for? They're all the same. I'm gonna be calm on this occasion. We'll wait for now to go for the big punt. Lots of contact here between these guys. It's kind of very normal contact to have these door-to-door bangs. Kind of very, very normal. But here, look, 3 abreast, 4 abreast. Over you go, all of you. He can go off as well. Is that going to be a penalty? Because that was a clear forcing wide of the track. If that was F1, it's a 5-second penalty, presumably. Or maybe not if you're Max Verstappen. Right, coming through there. Cut the track. Yeah, not too concerned about cutting the track. All I care about is the collisions. There's a collision. That guy spat out almost, mate. Actually kept it under control. Well done. Well done to him for keeping that under control. I thought he was going to go around then. But he didn't. Up to 10th, gaining some positions. Not being clean, but that's the whole point. Trying to just test the system and not feel guilty about it. It's going through at the end of lap number 2 onto the 3rd lap. This is a familiar combination for me. The Porsche 718 around Le Mans Bugatti. We did this in the Forza Race Championship Season 3 finale at Le Mans. So I'm kind of familiar with these cars. So here, just ramming this guy off. Let's see if that's a penalty. Should be. We've got an off the track warning as well. So I gained a position, I rammed him off. No penalty for cutting the track, but the collision thing, I don't know if it's broken or if it's still trying to process it. Maybe with all the ramming that goes on, even the most powerful supercomputer can't even handle the amount of calculations that have to be done. So ramming them 2 off, that could have easily been a penalty. I mean, if that was GT Sport, that would have been a penalty. And here we go, on the receiving end this time, as we get punted around at this turn. I don't mind though. I kind of want to see if this system works. Is it penalising people properly? Because that was Bobby. I think he was the one with the punts, and I'm not sure if he actually got. He's got a 1.5 second penalty. It's hard to say if that was because of the contact. Probably could have just corner cutting. Now coming down here, John Cena out of nowhere, smash, get wrecked into the wall. Is that enough to get a collision? Surely that has to be a penalty. Surely that's as concrete as it gets. But on this occasion, I've bribed the stewards, and somehow I've escaped and got away with it. So we tried to continue. Really quite unsure how that's panned out, but the guy behind's actually quit. So we've got Bobby here. I'm going to try to ram him off. Let's see if we can go for one last ram test at the last lap. And he completely jukes me out, and that was actually a really poor attempt, and I actually died because of that. So my ramming skills not quite up to scratch, unfortunately. We crossed the line 13th. Woohoo! Great result. Thank you to the boys back at the factory for their amazing work. Actually, we went down to 14th, so not great at all. So not many penalties being handed out for such a filthy race. So had a shower, got back, and here we go then. Ford RS200 at Sonoma. Now this car, it kind of has a pedigree in rally or off-road, and that might come in useful here because there's plenty of grass and there's going to be plenty of ramming onto it. So let's see how this one goes. RZ and Bobby, Sweden Pro in the lead. He's going to just presumably race away with this one, but that's boring. I'm here to start punting people. So Bobby, he's my team, my R4M team. I'm actually ask him to join R4M. He's in RZM, close enough I suppose, but I want him in R4M because he's a good rammer, it seems. We'll see if he is up for joining R4M. So, a couple of little punts there. Coming into the carousel, I'm going to punt them both off. Irishman off he goes as well. Taking the line here, nice big banking here, kind of hooks you round and get back onto the track in 5th place. Now this is a perfect bowling alley. You can see there's actually a nice little lane here and line down the middle as well. So I'm going to do a nice little slide and try and take as many out. Get one of them, kind of. So I'm not very good at bowling, clearly. Do need to improve my bowling technique to try to score some strikes. So no penalties. I'm not sure what's going on here. It really isn't deciding too much in terms of penalties. The off-track thing is working pretty well. So here, just trying to be as aggressive as possible. Cutting the track, but I'm not really concerned about that again. It's really about the collisions. Is it correctly deciding that I'm sending and punting people to the realm, or is it not? So coming into here, great opportunity to go for the strike, and we go in full speed and gain a couple of souls for the realm. And the Grim Reaper is looking on in delight right now at the scenes here at the final corner. So come back onto the track. Not very clean at all, but that's the idea. Coming through turn 1, long sweeping corner, lots of cars here. Could potentially push one of them off. Come on, at least give me a penalty for that. He didn't go off the track, maybe that's why, I'm not sure. As another guy, Poppy, gets spun out. My R4M teammate, good lad. So I'm going to completely spin that guy out, completely shove that guy off. Come on, surely. One of these has got to be a penalty. I'm really not sure exactly what's happening. I think another thing that it does measure is the difference in speed between the two of you. So the two people involved in contact. If one of you is travelling a lot quicker than the other, then that should give you a penalty. But honestly, it's not doing anything at the moment. I mean, it is the first version of the system, and when I was watching the Forza Monthly, it was showing that big punts were being punished with penalties. But that just doesn't seem to be happening. Except we're just spinning everywhere at the moment. I'm going to try and spin this guy out, push him off the track. Creator comes back through, spin him out. That was honestly a textbook pit manoeuvre. I think I should be signed up to the United States Police Force in some various city somewhere. So through this chicane, in 6th place obviously. Bobby's coming back as we exit the chicane on the grass, all over the place. Irishman comes back through, and here gets spun out by Bobby and actually gets sent to the Shadow Realm. This is what it looks like. It's quite a scary place. Very dark. You can't see anything at all.
Wow.
Scary place. Scary place indeed. Unfortunately, I escaped with my life. I have fairly high resistance to the realm, as I managed to escape with my life on this occasion. So again, not really anything happening. I would like to know your thoughts, or your experience mainly, of this system. Is it working for you? Is it giving fair penalties? You know, are you murdering people, and is it giving you penalties? I go underneath that guy, gets shoved into the wall, flips up over the top of me, and again, no collision penalty. I really want this to work, but it doesn't seem to be dishing anything out. I'm actually quite perplexed right now. That's why it's not doing anything, because these are some pretty hefty hits I'm dishing out right now, and it doesn't really seem to be doing anything, unfortunately. But as we said earlier, the August update is the final update for this game, as they switch their attention to presumably Forza Motorsport 8. Let's hope that that game will come out with a fully tested and working system. As of course Forza 7, you know, the history of this game did not start off on the front foot at all. It had so many glitches, so many bugs. It really didn't work properly, and Forza 8 just simply cannot afford to have the same situation. It just needs to work properly. It just has to work from launch. As Bobby gets spun on the wall, and this is another opportunity for him to go for a strike, collect all 3 people there and the wall just about. I think that was a textbook bowling manoeuvre as we come into that chicane. But yeah, Forza 8, I mean, it just needs to be there from launch. Whether or not this system will be there, I hope it will be in some respect. Obviously it would need to actually work, but for now it isn't, quite simply. So final lap here at the end of this race. So we've kind of tested it, because in the first race it was very calm, very clean race for the most part. Everyone tried to stay on the track, and in these last 2 races we gave it a good go in terms of actually testing the system, smashing people off, running people wide, doing different types of contact, because there's so many possibilities when it comes to contact. You can have obviously the full-on punts where you whack someone off a hairpin or something, but then you have these little hits where you run someone wide, things like that. So there's a billion different combinations of contact. It's very difficult for one system to work everything out, but still, I'm surprised that absolutely nothing has been dished out in terms of penalties here. As obviously that, I mean, that's as blatant as it gets, but nothing has been processed. And again, I'm not sure how it's working because the collision thing is still kind of flashing at the top of the screen, or it's there, but it's kind of greyed out. So exactly what's going on, I'm not sure. I guess it's just still deciding. It just can't decide because there's so much crap going on as we all go into that wall. About £1 billion worth of damage has been done during the course of this race. But that is going to wrap up this video. So please do let me know your thoughts on the system. Is it working for you? Is it dishing out fair penalties or not? And maybe your thoughts and hopes for when it comes out, presumably on Forza Motorsport 8. So once again, thank you all to my patrons. You will be in the outro about to come up. And just a thank you to all the support on the channel. Thank you to all the viewers. Thank you to all my subscribers, members, just anyone really who is here watching and supporting the channel. Thank you so much as always. That's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts. I shall see you next time. Have a nice day, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.